elevate well-being. And that could mean anything that you want it to mean, but for me, it means PERMA, and it is a positive psychology mind frame. There are elements within it that allow us to analyze, assess, and practice so that we can live a life of meaning and a life of purpose and a life of well-being. So I'm going to break this down into 3 parts. First, I'd like to introduce myself, and then after that, I'd like for us all to take a moment to do a guided meditation and really look inward. Next, I'm going to introduce you to the PERMA model for well-being, which was developed by positive psychologist Martin Seligman. And after that, I am going to share with you my journey in cultivating my PERMApowers, and in an effort to show you that we are all on a different path, we are all arriving at different destinations, and I hope that PERMApowers will inspire you to live a life of purpose, meaning, and show you a glimpse of how to better do so. So a little bit about myself. Up until about 3 months ago, was a toothpaste salesperson. For the last 4.5 years of my life, I've been working within the natural products industry, and I helped a company go from a farmer's market brand to an international best-selling oral care product line. While I was walking that path, I learned so much about nutrition. I had a whole new appreciation for food and the power that food has, what we put into our body, healing ourselves, and it gave me a whole new perspective on life. I became the president of a nonprofit organization called the Center for Natural Living, which will be a nice tie-in for the end of this regarding community. Within about 2 months, I'm going to step down from the board and become the director of the Center for Natural Living. Our mission is to create a voluntary and natural world, and we see this happening in the realm of sustainability, community, and health. When I step down from the board and become director, I will be embarking upon a project that we call the Sustainable and Autonomous Communities Initiative. And we are pursuing an education platform to make it easier for individuals to live a life off-grid, to have a more decentralized approach to community, to health, to the food we grow, and to what we give out to the world. The Center for Natural Living also has an educational media side of it called Sovereign Living. We have an amazing docu-reality series. The first episode is on YouTube. The next few will be released on YouTube soon. Again, it's called Sovereign Living. It follows a family as they begin to live a lifestyle where they're becoming more food sufficient and breaking away from the matrix, if you will. And then another thing that the Center for Natural Living does is called Imaji Living, and that's what really lights my heart on fire. Imaji was the first written hieroglyphic for the concept of freedom. It literally means return to the mother. And in Imaji Living workshops, we have speakers come up and talk about how we can create intentional communities, how we can embrace net zero technologies, and how we can incorporate property acquisition to have a more widespread lifestyle with mutual aid societies and eco-villages. So, okay, that's a little bit about me. But we're not here to talk about me. This is for you, okay? This whole workshop is for you. So I'd like to take a moment for everyone to close their eyes, to really focus on their intention for the day, to really focus on their intention for this workshop. And with every breath that we are breathing in, to exhale any tension, any feelings of negativity, and to elevate ourselves into a higher frequency vibration. We're aware of the power that our mind has over our body. We're feeling our fingers, moving them, moving our toes, always embracing the present moment and using this workshop to cultivate our PERMApowers to design a more beautiful future for ourselves. When I stumbled upon PERMA, I was not in a good place in my life. In fact, had I not not discovered the PERMA model for well-being, I certainly wouldn't be here in front of you today. And with a lot of pain and sadness, I also will express to you that I might not even be here on this planet in this form. I was at a place in my life where I was so frustrated with the mainstream. I was so frustrated with everything happening around me in society, in politics, and I felt as if I was banging my head against a brick wall. And the only way to make myself feel happy was through changing policy, being an activist for electronic privacy, removing the state from our lives in different aspects of our being. You saw my Ron Paul Revolution sticker on the back of my laptop. At this time in my life, I was very angry. And I very well could have joined the 27 Club with Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Kurt Cobain, and Amy Winehouse, and many others approaching my Saturn return. But thankfully, I realized that rather than giving myself to everything else around me and everyone else around me, it was imperative that if I were to achieve the social change that I was searching for, I had to do that from within first. Before I can fully give myself to other people, I have to give myself to me. And that might sound selfish, but I'm here to tell you, selfishness is a virtue. Because if you are not there for yourself, how the hell are you going to be there for the people that you care about the most around you and for society at large? So PERMA is a really unique acronym, and there's elements of well-being. The first is positive emotion. I'm usually like flowing with positive energy, super optimistic, but everyone's different, right? So how do we soak that in and really embrace positive emotion? I like to use the analogy of a cup that has liquid in it. While this cup has the same amount of liquid, some people will look at it and say, that glass is half empty. While others will look at it and say, that glass is half full. So I'm encouraging you to flex your positive emotions and realize that that glass is half full. And if you want more, if you want to manifest more liquid into that cup, it's imperative to focus on what you want rather than what you don't have. To approach life in an abundance mindset rather than one of scarcity and fear. The next aspect of the PERMA model of well-being is engagement. So just like right now, woo, I feel like I'm in flow mode. Have you ever felt like you're in flow mode? Maybe you're having a conversation with someone and you just can't stop eye contact. You feel so connected. Or maybe you're embarking upon an activity that brings you tremendous joy and you love it and it's your passion and you feel so connected with it. You don't even realize time going on and on because you are so connected to what it is you are doing and what you are focusing your attention toward. And ladies and gentlemen, what you focus your attention toward is what manifests in your life. What you give power to is what will have power over you. The next element for the PERMA model of well-being is relationships. And this one's really important, especially as we bridge the gap with the community. Because so many intentional communities inevitably fail. And why is that? I would argue that part of it has to do with not really having a proper structure for ownership, or not having an equitable disbursement of the sweat equity that you put in, or the time that you put in, the energy that you put in. But I also think that it's because of relationships. So frequently in community, individuals are relying on other people for happiness. And if you're not at a place where you can cultivate that within yourself, it will be impossible for you to best serve your community, to best serve your friends, to best serve your family, which is why relationships are incredibly important. We are all social beings, but we must first be there for ourselves so that we can best be there for the people who are closest to us and form new, exciting relationships. And I look at relationships as being qualitative rather than quantitative. I think it's far more important to have quality relationships than it is to have many relationships. Again, that's different for everyone. There's also different types of relationships. There are soulmate relationships that might change your life. That person is there lifting you up, making making you a better human being. I'm lucky enough to have found my soulmate, and my life has transformed. He's inspired me to become the best version of myself, and in doing so, has helped me whack down any limiting beliefs that I used to have. Oh, I can't speak at a conference, no one will listen. Oh, I'm just behind the scenes. If I were to talk, nobody would care about what I have to say. And the reason that I feel so passionate about PERMApowers, by the way, is because I know that it works. And I know that it works because I'm standing in front of you today as living proof that this works. And being with people who bring us up and developing those relationships and building those relationships brings us a sense of well-being, purpose, and happiness and joy that we're not always capable of having on our own. It really does provide that higher reason in life, which is the next, meaning. So when we look at meaning, we have to think there are many moving forces in this world, right? What is, despite the fact that there's this higher, bigger thing, that we're entering this new realm of human consciousness, what is happening in our lives that brings us and ties us back to this bigger sense of being? Like, I might be here right now giving you this workshop, but there are so many other interesting, cool, creative things happening right now, even at this convergence, where we're all here right now experiencing this, and we have a higher purpose, a higher sense of meaning, a higher sense of really tapping into the power within so that we can more vividly express that outwardly. And the last aspect to the PERMA model for well-being is accomplishment. Accomplishment is great, and we need to reward ourselves. When we accomplish something, it's great to share that with the people that we love. It's great to have goals and know exactly what it is you intend to create. And with accomplishment, people are often too humble, but really that is something that drives us forward and it motivates us to live every single day to the best of our ability. And isn't that why we're here? To best share our gifts with the world. So I'd like to take a step back, and I'd like to talk to you about the shit and the manure that helped me grow into the human being that I am today. Just about a few months ago, I was recovering, and still am recovering, from a crippling addiction and dependency to Adderall. I was told by doctors, healthcare professionals, that I was off the top ADD, that I was incapable of concentrating, and for that reason, I needed to medicate myself in order to fit into this box called the normies of society, right? 9 to 5, do what you need to do, data entry. I was so desperate for accomplishment. Really, it was like what I had going in my life was accomplishment. I wanted to land the next chain store for my natural products company. I wanted to liberate humanity from the electric grid. I still do, but I'm not there yet. We're all still walking that path together, I suppose. And I was so desperate to accomplish things outside of myself that I was not healthy. I wasn't eating food. I was taking this pharmaceutical drug that literally turned me into a robot. It turned me into someone that I am not. I lost my personality. I lost my spunk, all in an effort to be able to pay attention to what other people thought that I should have been paying attention to. And when I was told that I had a disorder, I was silly enough to believe them. After discovering the PERMA model for well-being, I began to do a lot of inward reflection and a lot of healing and a lot of work. Look, we all have trauma. We all have pain. And I'm here to tell you right now that that shit, that manure, that is what we need. We need to be present with it. We need to acknowledge it. We need to understand the way that it makes us feel, and we need to accept that. And once we accept that, we can then plant a seed in all of that rich manure, all of that rich fertilizer that will then blossom into a beautiful flower so that we can flourish to the best of our ability and be the best version of ourselves. I didn't have a disorder, I have a gift. That's a different way to look at it. And really it's drawing in the law of attraction and not focusing on what you don't have, but what you do. And another beautiful thing about planting a seed and all of that manure is that we are each planting different seeds. Maybe you want to plant a carrot. Maybe you want to plant a tree. Maybe I want to plant a rose. We all have the ability to decide exactly which seed it is we want to plant so that it blooms into the most beautiful version of ourselves. And really, if you think about it, that's the bigger picture in life, is that we are the architects of our own life. We have the power to design our own life every single day when we wake up, whether it's making our own meal and designing what you're about to eat, and that's a very micro example, or whether it's deciding who we're going to spend our time with, because as many people suggest, you are and you become who you spend, the closest, 7 people that you spend your time with. We have the ability to wake up every morning and design the future of our dreams. And that's up to us. And that's up to some very serious inward reflection and realizing exactly what it is we aim to manifest. And for me, what helped me take that next leap of faith, what helped me realize that I had to change course or else I was going to kill myself, because every day I was poisoning myself with Adderall, with alcohol, I wasn't eating food. It was when I was working a booth for the Center for Natural Living at a farmer's market. And I worked all night on this very exquisite backdrop. And we're at the farmer's market, it's about to start in like 10 minutes. And I'm putting in all the fake leaves and all the decorations. And my hands started to bleed. And when I looked down at my hands, that was the realization that I had pushed myself to such an extreme that I wasn't even able to work the booth that day. I had no rest, my hands were bloody, and it became apparent to me that I was trying so hard to achieve someone else's vision of myself, give myself so much to something else outside of myself, I wasn't there for myself. And when you're not there for yourself, you will not be able to bring what it is you were meant to bring. So here I am, standing with my hands clean. I've been clean from Adderall, I've been clean from alcohol now for months. And it's a hard path, but what really helps me is knowing that every day I have the decision when I wake up to live a life of abundance, to live a life of beauty, and to live a life of sustainability, sustainable relationships, eating sustainable food, deciding how I spend my dollar and voting with my dollar. All of this is based on my own thoughts, my own decisions. And when you understand that you are the driver of your vehicle of life, that you are the captain of your ship, you are going to sail a lot more smoothly. And be able to give yourself outwardly to everyone else in the community. So, with that being said, I really would like to break into some interactive aspects of this workshop. I think a lot of us here are set on creating or having a more sustainable, intentional community or eco-village. And so, now that we understand the PERMA model for well-being, positive emotion, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment, we can think back to how we can manifest that inwardly and best express it outwardly to the world, to our micro community, and most importantly to ourselves. Thank you for your time. Does anyone have questions or want to talk about their struggle or their journey or where they are at in the space-time continuum? Our website, centerfornaturalliving.org. The Sustainable and Autonomous Communities Initiative is going to really kick off much more from just theory into actual practice. And I'm creating a strategic 2019 plan. I'll be leaving for Mexico next week to be on the beach and draft out the vision so that I can plan a tour and go to different communities that already exist and see what challenges they're experiencing and help educate them on how they can navigate those. Right now, it's almost impractical to live in community. Everyone wants you to be tapped into the grid, to live in the suburbs, and it's illegal in a lot of places to have rainwater collection, to grow your own food, to have tiny houses. And so we'll be visiting communities that already exist and helping them to grow and flourish, but also creating new communities. So. Does anyone want to talk about their projects? It sounds like you're doing something cool in Michigan.
Yeah. Sure. What's the format? Just monologue?
Sure, man. We're just going solo now, I guess.
So we'll share. Yeah. I think so.
Let me do this so I can turn
That'd
this
be
off.
cool. Yeah, to hear from everybody.